What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of goldballhunting.com. I'm Brent Abel. That is Jeff Jacklich. To my
Me.
left, to your right, up in the mushroom growing Napa Valley. It's so wet and soggy up there that those little things you see coming off of Jeff's head,
Yeah.
they're little mushrooms. It's
Uh,
ridiculous this winter. Come on, man.
yeah. It's
You
it's
look.
raining. It's raining heavily right now, and it's April 5th, 6th.
As
I
we're
don't know.
as we're
I,
recording this, it's the 5th. Yes,
yeah. It's
publishing it on a different date,
uh,
but
it's totally like. I don't want to bring everybody down, man.
no.
Let's move on. Let's move
Okay.
on.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can live vicariously through me today. It is a stunner here today. I mean, it is ridiculous. It's going to be, high 80s today. It's beautiful, and like we've been talking about the last couple of days. In 2 days from now, it's going to be 100. It's
Well,
going to be
listen. Don't
100
be
degrees.
surprised. Don't be surprised if by this evening you hear that scratching at the door. It'll be me.
Could I, please?
Can I come in?
Please. All right. So look, well, listen, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. I got something I want to talk about that was originally brought to me by Mr. Stowe back in the day, and but before we get into that, and this is we rarely talk about stroke technique, rarely,
Yeah.
if ever. Maybe this is the first time. I don't know. Because we really believe in de-emphasizing stroke technique and talk about more concepts of the game that don't require technical attention. Okay.
Let's say
Anyway,
technical emphasis.
emphasis. All right. But before we get into it, guys, we are offering a 10-minute private free coaching call, the three of us, you, me, and Jeff. And the way to get access to that call is to go over to goldballhunting.com, put in your first name, then an email address, and then click the button, and you'll get access to our online calendar, which, by the way, temporarily is down right now because I can't figure out how to get into the iCloud account and fix it. Anyway, that should not
it'll be
stop
back
you.
online by the time anybody hears this. Though,
Yes, it'll be there for you. So then you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you for that 10-minute call. And this is not like social tea time, the 10-minute call. This is, you got to bring that one thing in your game right now that you just cannot figure out. That if you could figure out, you know what? The result in your game on average is you'd be reducing that skill level range, meaning bringing the bottom up to the top on a consistent basis. So guys, goldballhunting.com, first name, email address, click the button, and you get access to that online calendar. Jeff, I want to talk to you today about something Mr. Stowe talked to me about way back in the day, and I thought it was interesting. And Mr. Toro is outside. I hear him approaching. Today we have, usually it's the leaf blower guy, which you always tell me, you always say, well, I can't hear him. But this guy, this is a different machine today.
This is the big dog, huh?
This is the big dog. It's the Toro. It's the ride and mower. And it's not your little, where you've got like a half acre in the south and let's say Memphis, you're out in the suburbs and in the summer, you're on your ride and mower kind of looking around on Saturday morning going, what's up, Bubba? Hey, that kind of. So this is a big boy deal. God, he's actually all the way across the lake. I can hear him. Anyway, Mr. Stowe used to talk about stroke technique, and I think he originally would start with like the backhand slice drive. And he would say, well, let's start thinking about this let's take it from the finish. Let's start from the finish. So the finish looks like this. This is your reference point, whatever he was showing me. And it was from the finish. And there he would start backing it up into,
Right.
well, then here's the finish, here's contact, here's the setup, here's the ready. So most of the times what happens is we start from the beginning and we sort of systematically, we kind of go through the checklist, the punch list of all these different positions or whatever of stroke technique until we finally get out to the finish. And what it did for me is it really got me thinking about the importance of this is where I got to get to after I make contact with the ball.
Right.
So, and I think if we start from the beginning, sometimes what happens is that part, all we're ever thinking about is just the front part, and then all the other things just kind of fade into oblivion, and we never really get to the finish. So, one more thing, and I know you're chomping at the bit here, is I know. Could you let go of the reins a little bit, Brent? Is to me when I'm really feeling the finish is rarely right at contact. So there's a little time, call it 1 second, nanosecond, but there's, and you were doing the quantum physics thing the other day, which
that's true.
Which, by the way, as I was editing that podcast, my eyeballs were just like little saucers going like this. But you can actually feel that as you feel the ball on your racket string bed, that there's still a moment after that, until you get to that finish position that you started learning the stroke from. And I think that if you really focus on feeling that space from contact to that finish, some pretty good things might happen.
I think a lot of good things can happen in that space, and what you're talking about here is, reverse engineering. Where's the finish? And then let's back our way through the process and figure this thing out. And I know I use that technique quite a bit when I'm on court teaching, doing technical work with a student, to get them to understand where do we want to end up? Because sometimes the glitch, the flaw, the tweak in the stroke actually prevents them from getting to that place on the finish, and therefore they never feel that part of it.
Right.
So you got to kind of get them, put them in that space, reverse engineer it, and then say, you know what, I want you to disregard almost the front end of the stroke, and can you just make the racket finish here or here, wherever that place is, whatever technical thing, is it topspin, is it slice, is it drive, is it whatever it is you're working on. But giving the student then the goal is to get the racket to here, wherever that here is. And in doing so, the body, the kinetic chain, all those things will work to make that happen. And so in that process, you can actually get a racket to square, you can get it to bite the ball, you can get it to undercut a ball, you can get it to do all kinds of things. Again, a little bit more implicitly than explicitly, a little bit more by feel, which is what you're talking about. How do I get the student to actually feel what it feels like to hit this slice as more of a drive and not this little, this kind of hand collapsing, racket collapsing at contact and the ball kind of puffs over the net. I want them to feel what that drive is. Well, that racket has to finish in a place.
Yeah, that's right.
For that to happen, So I agree with you that the reverse engineering technique is a great technique to get students to find certain feels and to get the racket to do certain things. For sure.
Yeah, I think there's so much emphasis put on the beginning of the stroke. There's a lot of emphasis, and look, we're not discounting it. We're not saying that the setup position, the hitting setup position, is not as important as the finish. It certainly is. But I do think, just like what you're saying, Jeff, is that if you know where the finish is, or where the racket is supposed to finish, and what the body positioning, what the body posture, what the balance, what the alignment is supposed to look like, well, then a lot of that, all the beginning stuff somehow goes, well, if I need to get here, then it would make sense that this is where I should get set up.
Right.
And I do think, too, that players will sense, well, if I need to get out here, a couple of times they're going to rush to get out there. They'll get out there too soon.
Yeah.
And they'll feel themselves with contact too far in front, which I think is the biggest timing error. And let's not get too far off the topic here because we could go crazy on this.
We're not going there.
But I do think that when we make a timing mistake, that it's early, not late, and so that once you feel this is where I want to get with the finish, first couple times you might be a little bit too early with contact, and you'll go, man, I couldn't get to that spot I wanted to because I was too early with contact.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
You know, and this gets back to the story with me and Mr. So with the waiting on the volley, and so, guys, I would recommend that if you're having any kind of struggles with stroke technique, just like Jeff says, reverse engineer it. Start from the finish, and then work it. Then just kind of work it back and just kind of see what happens. And you know, we'd love for you to tinker with that, try it, experiment. Not trial and error, trial and success. Oh my God, what a concept. Trial and success.
And you know, I would encourage everybody too to, you know, don't get caught up in necessarily, is this right or wrong? For this is one of those things like, you know, you got to experiment. You got to get out there and experiment a little bit. And so experiment with, you know, if you're on the ball machine, hit 10 balls in a row and make the racket finish low and whatever. Pick a spot and don't try to manipulate the racket. Just let the racket move through and see what that does. Okay, what happens when I finish a little bit more level? What happens when I finish a little higher? I mean, these are all the things that, you know, as players we naturally discover, and then we learned how to use them in match play. You know, I mean, I know just a boatload of my angle ability, feel, cutting the ball, hitting the drop shot, all that was developed. A lot of it was developed in junior college playing mini tennis, you know, doubles, where, you know, the singles, we're using the service boxes and the alleys, 4 guys, we're cutting, angling, all this stuff. And we would go for an hour before practice, and we're drenched, we're sweating. We have just, you know, had a great workout, but that's where, you know, we learned a lot of this stuff is that kind of play. So I think it's one of those things that a lot of players, especially league players and players don't spend enough time in that discovery mode, allowing themselves to discover something.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, guys, listen, I hope you got something from today's episode. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Just a quick reminder, if you want to get on a complimentary free, that would be free, 10-minute private coaching call, the 3 of us, you, me, and Jeff. We will do that. The way to get in on that call, go over to goalballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, then be sure to click the button, and you'll get immediate access, because sometimes it's first name, email, and now what do I do? It's a 3-step process. First name, email, button. And you'll get immediate access to our online calendar scheduler, where you get to cherry pick the date and time that works best for you. But you got to bring that one thing in your game right now that's just like cannot figure this thing out. And we're going to try to set you on the path to get the result that you want. Dude, the mic is all yours.
Woohoo! All right. So please like us, share us. Please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. We'd love to hear from you.
Guys, get out there today. Watch out for the guy in the Toro grass cutting machine. Watch out for him, but help someone else. Have a spectacular day. Jeff will do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.